Alright, welcome back guys. Once your first time here, I'm Vision Hero Viner bringing you guys another video. Today me talking about a topic that I've been kind of pushing off for a bit, but I wanted to talk about it in regards to who I believe should be owning Power Rangers due to the effect of what's been going on in the past few years with the franchise, not just with Hasbro, but with Neo Saban, and just overall looking back at the history. Now, Power Rangers Sunshine Instant, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below, hit that bell icon, there's more Power Rangers content from me, moving forward. Now let's begin. So, like I said, I want to talk about the Power Rangers franchise in regards to who owns it and who I think should own it moving forward. Now, we all know that Power Rangers is currently owned by Hasbro. They bought it back. I think it was in 2018, 2019. I can't remember the exact date, but it was somewhere around there that the contract ran out and, Hasbro got it. Now, back when they first had it, we had some good stuff going on. We had the Lightning Collection. They definitely seemed like they cared for that. They had Zap. They did some pretty good seasons with, Dino, Fury, and Beast Morphers. But then everything went on hiatus. We do know that behind the scenes, Hasbro has had some issues. But we know that at the moment, Power Rangers is on hiatus. The whole Jonathan Entwistle thing seems to be on ice. Jenny Klein left. So Power Rangers in regards to Hasbro pretty much is dead in the water. So, the question becomes now is what happens? Do they keep the franchise or do they sell it what do I think they should do? Now, if we look back at, the history of PR and who's owned it, it's of course Saban and Disney. Now, first off, yes, I know Saban started the whole franchise. We had Saban started off with MMPR through Wild Force or MMPR through Time Force or half of Wild Force. There's a big controversy there whether or not the Disney era started with Wild Force or not. So, but I count it as part of the Neo Saban era. But you got, the Saban era. Then you got the Neo Saban era, which was Samurai through Ninja Steel or Super Ninja Steel. And look, I think Saban has done good stuff. Look, the original Saban era had some good seasons. Some of the, top 10 seasons after In Space were from Saban. So, we had some solid seasons. However, where Saban slipped up and where I don't trust it anymore and don't want him to have it is the Neo Saban era. Not Jonathan Entwistle, so Simon Bennett actually came out and did a whole interview that regarding, how Saban was the one who pretty much caused all the, things we all hated about the Neo Saban era. He was the reason we had all the fart jokes. He's the reason we had the split seasons. He's the one we had Victor and Monty. We don't want to go back to that. I think 99% of us fans don't want to go back to the Victor and Monty days, which we most likely will get if Saban gets the franchise back, which I am terrified of happening. I do not want to see him on PR again. I hated what he did with PR. So, him owning it, yes, he started off the franchise. Yes, he brought it back, but he pretty much tanked it in the 10 years that he had it. So, we have to look at those things. Like, yes, he did do 8 good seasons or so out of the, MMPR era or Zordon era, whatever you want to call it. Because pretty much everybody agrees that, most of those seasons are good. I think Turbo and Wild Force are probably the lower ranking ones in the original Saban era. So, he did good seasons. However, then you look at what happened during the Neo Saban era where you had both Samurai seasons being meh, Mega Force being a complete and utter insult, not Wild Force, Dino Charge being okay, but then tanking in Supercharge, and then Ninja Steel kind of just being, I want to say a copy of Mega Force, but on the same level, close to it. And, we go down that route, and you see what happened. All those seasons are pretty much people's bottom of the barrel seasons for the most part. I know there are people out there who love them, say they're top 10, but I think majority of fans can agree that they're the bottom of the barrel, right down with Overdrive and Turbo. So I think that, the Neo Saban era, kind of cements why we shouldn't have Saban back. I think one of the issues Saban had looking at the Victor and Monty stuff is he wanted to relive the 90s with Bulk and Skull. And let's put it this way, the 90s are great. We grew up in the 90s, everything like that. But it's not the 90s anymore. We got to move it into the 2020s. No more of that, Victor and Monty kind of comedy. We need to move away from that. You know, yes, they had the comedy duos, but the Hasbro era, their comedy duos were at least decent and okay. They didn't go into cringy territory for the most part. They pretty much stayed decent and weren't like unbelievably stupid like in Ninja Steel. So, we don't want to go back there. I think majority of fans would say we don't want to go back there. And if we get Saban, I'm going to say there's a 90 to 95% chance we're going back in that direction, which I don't want. And I assume, and I'm going to predict that a lot of people don't want as well. Because, we all know the Neo Saban era. We all know how terrible they did with it. The Legendary Battle is infamous as being one of the worst things that ever came out of it. Some of the Rangers are just forgettable or low level. Like, you can't even describe the Mega Force ones or Samurai. So, Saban did bad stuff in the Neo Saban era. But then you look at something like Disney, which is the one who had it through Ninja Storm through RPM. I know some people might argue through Jungle Fury. There's a lot of, again, controversy of where it ends and begins. But I'm going to, go from Ninja Storm to RPM. Now, if you look at their era, they pretty much had a solid run. For the most part, I think at most, you have Operation Overdrive, which I think most fans would say is their lowest point. We got Ninja Storm, which is a good kickoff. Everybody really likes that season. Dino Thunder with Tommy is pretty much considered a top 10. Same with SPD. You have Mystic Force, which definitely is a little bit lower, but I still think that's a pretty solid season. For the most part, it's definitely above, some of the other seasons out there. I think it definitely holds up as a good solid season. Could they have changed a few things? Yes, but I still think it's a solid season. Of course, we all know how Overdrive is probably pretty much on the top 10 of worst seasons. Then you got Jungle Fury, which is a really overrated season. Underrated season. I think that it's a great season. I don't know why people don't talk about it more. And of course, we ended it off with RPM, like one of everybody's number one favorite seasons. So they had a considerably good track run with their seasons. With one major hiccup in the run. Yes, I know there's some people who might not like some of these seasons. I know that's probably true. There are people who probably don't like Time Force. There are people that don't like In Space. There's always those fans out there. But for the most part, they had a solid run, the Disney era. So that's where I'm going to say I believe Disney should be the ones who own PR right now. Look, I know everybody will be the first ones to jump and yell, but Disney didn't care about PR. They didn't want the franchise. They didn't even care about it. However, if you think of it from a smart person's point of view, them not caring about the franchise is pretty much the best thing that could happen for PR. Because when the higher-ups don't care, they're not meddling. You don't have the higher-ups with their, pushing ideas or doing this, or you got to do this, you got to do that. The writers and everybody have free range then to do whatever they want and not have to worry about, making the higher-ups happy. They can just, write out whatever story they want. Whether or not it's good is up to, us and what they do. But they don't have to worry about the bosses, handing over them, telling them, you got to get rid of this, you got to get rid of that. When you don't have the big wigs dictating what you have to do, you don't have to worry as the idiot anti-woke people have to say, as in, you don't have to worry about them pushing an agenda, as they would say. They have more liberties to do what they want. They can, they can go in any direction where that they want and not have to worry about the higher ups telling them, no, you can't do that. You have to do this, which is what I think works best in a franchise, and which is why I think, the Power Rangers franchise would work well under Disney. Also, with Disney at the moment, they also have Disney Plus. You could also have different Disney property Power Rangers things going on, branching out from just the main show. We know, take for example with the MCU right now, they revived the X-Men 97. They're doing a Spider-Man animated series. They could do that with PR. They could do a Power Rangers animated series that people have been begging for years now. That could be something that they could have put up. Also, they also take these characters from, movies and whatnot, Star Wars, say, and give them their own TV shows. They could pick out a season, take out a few characters from that season who want to come back. They don't have to do more actual like monster fights. They can do, you know, just civilian work. Like take something like, SPD. There are always cops and criminals that can get out and escape in SPD. There's so much other things that they could do and explore within the world of PR. You know, if they do little spin-off shows or little like special movies or special events like they did with, say what Marvel did with Werewolf by Night, they could do something like that. With a PR season. Like I feel like there's so many opportunities with PR with under Disney. Yes, I know people don't like Disney. I know there are certain people out there who hate Disney for certain reasons. But I think Disney opens up a lot of doors for PR to do a lot of different things, explore a lot of different, areas. You also could bring back actors or characters who didn't get much to do in the season, and you could expand on things. Like, take, for example, Time Force. You don't really know much about Katie or Lucas. You could bring them back and do some kind of, 6-episode or something event for them. There's always something to do with PR. I think that PR is something that we just look at and see, okay, we got that season done. Let's move on to the next. But, as we see in the anniversary seasons or the team ups, they're still doing stuff behind the scenes. They're still doing, different things. So why not do those kind of things with, special events or TV shows, miniseries? Like, there's so much they could do there. And under Disney, they would have that opportunity to do different things. And I think that Disney would be a great an outlet for them to have. Again, I know people don't like Disney. I know Disney, like I said, people say they don't care about them. But given their track record with PR in the past, and given the, help with Disney Plus, they have a lot of opportunities to do a lot of different things now. Say that they didn't have 10, 20 years ago when they actually owned it. So, yes, does Disney have its issues? Yes. But I would prefer right now for it to be under Disney because they just have a lot of more opportunities to do things. They have a lot more resources. And, I think they would. I know, like I said, they said they don't care enough about it, but I also do think they would care enough to like keep the franchise afloat so that they make money. They might not care about it in the sense of like storytelling wise, but they'd at least throw money at to make it profitable for them. So, that's where I stand. I think Disney should be the one to own it. Please do not give it back to Saban. We don't want the Neil Saban days. I know some people brought up, Nickelodeon or Paramount. Given how they were tied to Neil Saban, I wouldn't trust them either. That's questionable at best. I know there's some other areas that people have mentioned. But for me, right now, I'd say go with Disney. They're the way to go. They have a lot of opportunities that they could open the doors for PR. They're a big tentpole property right now. So, they would definitely, in my opinion, be the best option. But those are just my opinions. What are your thoughts, friends? Do you think that Hasbro should keep the franchise? Are you sick of what they've done with the franchise since they put on hiatus? You think Saban should take it back? Or are you upset with, what went on with the Neil Saban era? Or are you like me and think that Disney should have it? And yes, Disney has its own issues and things going on, but, Disney at least, made some good seasons. And all that good stuff in the comment section down below. Yeah, guys, those are my thoughts, opinions on who I believe should own the Power Rangers franchise. As always, if you like this video, give a big thumbs up and share. Don't forget to hit subscribe button down below. Hit that bell icon next to my Power Rangers content from me moving forward. And go for me on Screen Twitter, which are linked in that section of my YouTube channel. As always, I'm Vision here by Entertainment, and I'll see you next time.